the host of the show. Welcome. Thanks for watching. Thank you for joining us at our headquarters in Hollywood, where, I don't know if you know this, but we were attacked last night. We were hit by another devastating Ted Cruz Twitter strike. Once again, I found myself in a squabble with the Senate's least favorite senator, Ted Cruz. And once again, guess who started it? Me, I guess. I started it. So last night on the show, I mentioned the fact that Ted Cruz got some flack for being stupid. He mocked an ad for the Army that featured a female soldier who was raised by two moms. He called our military woke and emasculated, which I pointed out fairly, I thought, is funny coming from a guy who let Donald Trump use his testicles on the driving range. And, I mean, look, he was Trump's Theon Greyjoy, okay? And I guess that struck a nerve because I'm at home last night watching our guest Lena Waithe's show, and I get a text saying, hey, Teddy Cancun just tweeted about you. He wrote, Jimmy Kimmel Live keeps talking crap, really tough guy. Here's a reminder, when we played one-on-one, I kicked his ass. He has to live with that forever. Rematch, punk. And he's right, it's true. I do have to live with that forever. You have to live with being Ted Cruz forever, which is so much worse, but I also have to live with that. So I paused the show, and I was like, all right, what am I going to write back? And it's late, by the way. He should be in bed by now, but this is what he's up doing. He's Googling himself and getting mad. So I wrote back, oh, Ted, you get so sad after you masturbate, which is undoubtedly what he was doing, undoubtedly. Remember that time he accidentally liked a stepmom porno tweet on 9/11 of all days? And then he blamed it on somebody on his staff? That was a tough one. Anyway, 9/11, by the way, was the score of our game. He had 11 points. I had 9 points. It's funny. You know, he posted this video. It's edited so you only see the shots he made, and he's so proud of himself. Meanwhile, neither one of us had anything to be proud of as far as that game is concerned. Between us, this is true, we made 20 shots. You know how many shots we missed? Do you remember, Guillermo?
Like 25? More? I don't remember.
Yeah, more than 25.
I don't remember. I'm just trying to be nice.
200 is the number.
200?
200 shots. We shot like 10% from the field. That game was uglier than him, okay? So the charities we were playing for almost refused to accept the money. They're like, you losers need this more than we do. Anyway, you know, we were supposed to play to 21. I don't know if you remember this. At a certain point, it didn't seem like we were ever going to get there. I pulled him aside. I'm like, hey, you want to go to 11? He's like, yes, I do. And it was like Spinal Tap. It went to 11. So there's nothing to boast about. And secondly, and this is the most important point, besides the fact that you're a U.S. senator and a very convincing Grandpa Munster impersonator who we would think has other things to do, but this is the most important part. After you won the game, you remember what I did? I said, good game, thanks, and I shook your discussing hand. I didn't complain that it was rigged. I didn't ask for a recount on the referee. I didn't start a conspiracy theory about the basketball having a microchip in it. I accepted it. I brought shame on my family, and I embraced it, as I always do. And, I mean, listen, it was a terrible day. I lost a basketball game to a man who ate one of his own boogers during a presidential debate. Anyway, apparently I was mean to Ted, and he's very upset. And if history is any indication, he's so upset, that means he'll be washing my car this weekend. So I look forward to that. In other government weasel news, Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, this guy, he signed a new law that will fine social media companies if they remove anyone who's running for office in his state. According to this law, which they know won't hold up, banning a candidate from your platform would result in fines of up to $250,000 a day. Gee, I wonder who lives in Florida and is banned from Twitter who may have had a tiny hand in this. Can you think of anyone? Reagan Ron was very proud of his toothless new legislation. He made a passionate case for why it kind of had almost nothing to do with Donald Trump.
The bill is for everyday Floridians. This is what we said. And it will allow any Floridian to be able to provide what they're doing. So, but I do think that's another issue that has been brought to bear. When you deplatform the President of the United States, but you let Ayatollah Khomeini talk about killing Jews, that is wrong.
Ayatollah died in 1989, by the way, and 17 years before Twitter, but he corrected that on Twitter. But we get around. You know how when you go on a road trip and you have to stop to pee at some, like, sketchy gas station in the middle of nowhere, and the toilet seat has, like, a swastika carved into it for some reason? You think, why would anyone take the time and even touch it to carve in anything into a toilet seat, let alone something horrible like a swastika? Anyway, Florida is that toilet seat. So, you know, there's a lot of nonsense going on, and much of it can be traced back to Mar-a-Lardo. This is an ad that has been running on Newsmax, and it's so brazen one could almost call it magnificent.
Biden is falling down on the job badly.
We cannot allow our country to be destroyed, and that's what's happening.
President Trump is fighting to elect America First Republicans to stop Biden's disastrous policies, and he needs your help.
Send your money to DonaldJTrump.com.
That's right. Send the billionaire your money, dummies. He wants it. He's not even bothering to, like, send a worthless commemorative coin in exchange anymore. Just send your money to my Last week on his website, he bragged about how his jet was being overhauled and repainted and how everyone will get to see it at his rallies that are coming up. And, gee, I wonder who's paying for that. Donald Trump is the personal injury attorney of former presidents. And he's multiplying. He's got mini Trumps all over the place now. Marjorie Taylor Greene, last week, she was complaining about being required to wear a mask on the floor of the House. And in an interview, compared it to the victims of Nazi Germany having to wear yellow stars during the Holocaust. And, of course, most of her fellow Republicans in Congress said nothing about it until, I guess, they got some pressure from the Jewish community that they couldn't ignore anymore. And today, 5 days later, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said that her comments were reprehensible, and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy put out a statement. He wrote, "Marjorie is wrong, and her intentional decision to compare the horrors of the Holocaust with wearing masks is appalling. The Holocaust is the greatest atrocity committed in history. The fact that this needs to be stated today is deeply troubling." Okay, good start. At a time when the Jewish people face increased violence and threats, anti-Semitism is on the rise in the Democrat Party and is completely ignored by Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Oh, you were so close. You couldn't help yourself, though, could you? You had to GOP in the pool and bring it back to Nancy Pelosi. This Marjorie Taylor Greene seems to be very focused on Nazis. Someone dug this up. This is from June of last year. She was speaking at a city council meeting and made a strong defense of statues honoring both Hitler and Satan.
We're seeing situations where Christopher Columbus, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, all kinds of statues are being attacked. And it seems to be just an effort to take down history. And whether I see a statue that may be something that I would fully disagree with, like Adolf Hitler, maybe a statue of Satan himself, I would not want to say take it down. But again, it's so that I could tell my children and teach others about who these people are, what they did, and what they may be about.
Right, that's the way to learn about history. You build a statue and you take your children to it. That's how I learned about Rocky Balboa. It's a teaching moment. Someone should build a statue of Satan right outside her house. That way she can explain to her kids who mommy is. And she's one of the few people that makes you think twice about the First Amendment. In happier news, I want to congratulate the team at Fox 4 News in Dallas. They are winners of our occasional award for excellence in reporting.
The Vax and Scratch program also starts today. Anyone who gets vaccinated at a state-run site in New York this week will get a free scratch-off. The jackpot for the mega multiplayer lottery is $5 million.
Yeah, well, that's dumb. All right. You know, a lot of states are offering prizes now. If you get vaccinated, you get a prize or a hamburger or a beer or something. Here in California, there's an unexpected side effect of the pandemic. People have stopped having kids here. We're currently experiencing what they call a baby bust. California will have 50,000 less births this year than last year. Experts believe it may have something to do with us being fat, disgusting slobs all year. And it's a problem. You know, if we don't have babies, and, it's not going to impact us now, but in 20 years, who's going to clog the 405 between 5 a.m. and 2 p.m. and then again from 2:08 to midnight? Something has to be done. First of all, USC needs to change their mascot, right? They can't be the Trojans anymore. It's not the right message. Part of the issue is that people haven't been going out, they haven't been mingling, but it's starting to happen. Half the residents here in LA County are vaccinated fully. Half of all states in the U.S. have now vaccinated half of their residents. If you want to know which ones have not, just check Ted Nugent's tour schedule. They're all on there. But as we begin to emerge from our COVID cocoons, sales of grooming products have gone up. Deodorant, condoms, and teeth whitener are suddenly in high demand. Did people not know we could still see their teeth on Zoom calls? I don't know, but alarm clock sales doubled in April. Last year, we didn't need alarm clocks. Last year, our alarm clocks were waking up to a message from Netflix making sure we're still alive. All in all, things are looking up, and every week we like to look back to the way things were exactly a year ago. It's that magical time once again. We turned back the clock to 1 year ago this week in a new edition of This Week in COVID History.
This week in COVID history, as we close May 2020, the president continues to lead the way. The fair way. Whoopsie. Sorry, your VP-ness.
Joe Biden did a campaign ad saying, how dare he play golf when so many people have this virus. The president said, I'm trying to send a message that we can do this safely.
Leading the way is important, and certainly the president trying to do that. Sometimes it's on the golf course.
Most times it's on the golf course. What's this? Breaking news.
Joe Biden makes his first public appearance wearing a mask.
Vice President Biden wearing a mask.
As we mentioned, he's wearing a mask.
He was wearing a face mask.
It's mask hysteria.
He didn't need to wear it.
Biden, like anybody else wearing a mask, looked ridiculous.
It is a bit peculiar that in his basement, right next to his wife, he's not wearing a mask.
I thought it was very unusual that he had one on.
And what does the masked bandit have to say for himself?
President Trump retweeted a photo of you wearing it. He's trying to belittle you for wearing a mask.
He's a fool. An absolute fool.
Mr. B pities the fool.
We know that the masks really aren't doing any good. We're compelling people to say, I'm a sheep and I'll do whatever the government tells me to do.
There's a man we can trust, one who surely won't be forced to step down from his job in disgrace. As we close the week, a new movement takes to the streets. And President Trump says, count me in.
MAGA loves black people.
He always says the white thing. This has been This Week in COVID History.
That's all real. If you like that video, click subscribe and we'll be together until one of us dies.